Yep. Yep. A putrid day at the office of first playoff start for many of these players on the football team. Um, Leaves us going into 2022 with a lot, and I mean a lot, of questions to be asked. Let's talk about it, y'all. What is up, Bird brothers and sisters? Lindy End Zone is back in the building for the touchdown, taking the lead for the Philadelphia Eagles, one video at a time. Of course, well, I guess I have to do it, and well, I can't because it's too late. Season's over as we. Wow. Okay. Nice. What the hell is happening here, dude? Are you serious? Sorry about that, y'all. My laptop decided to throw a quick fit. It was in a non-responsive mode, and I prematurely xed out my Chrome tab, and well, that's for the unexpected closing. But yeah, we're back. We're back in here, and I mean, as I was saying, well, it's too late for me to really take the lead for this football team as the season comes to an embarrassing close. As well, despite some garbage time points of 15 of those, the Eagles get curb stomped by the defending Super Bowl champions. At one point, it was 31 to nothing. And really, I'm going to leave it at that because that's what it basically was. We lost 31 to nothing. I'm not. I mean, I would love to count the 15 points, but I can't. It's garbage time. This team was just about done when it was 24 to nothing, and it's unfortunate because the defense was kind of hitting their stride a little bit. When it looked like Tampa Bay was about to get their third touchdown in a row on 4 possessions, the defense came in, stopped them on a third down conversion attempt. They couldn't get it. Tampa was limited to a field goal. So at one point, I thought, well, yeah, maybe we got something going on here. The defense is showing up first instead of the offense, and well, if the offense can just do their job, we might have a chance. And it didn't. It didn't happen. I mean, I don't know. Like there's plenty of blame to go around here, and we can call out Sirianni in his play calling, and we can call out how terrible Hurts was today, and we could also call out a soft coverage again, a soft coverage defense again by Jonathan Gannon, and well, I do remember I was on the Philly Insider podcast. They were doing a pregame call in the other day, and that's one thing that I warned a lot of people is that as much as we don't like it, I did feel that Jonathan Gannon was going to come into this game with a bend don't break style of defense because you can't afford to give Tom Brady whatever he wants. And while press coverage did work in some cases, and Gannon did try to give Brady some different looks, so it didn't look So the defense didn't come across as vanilla as it was. It didn't work. It didn't work in the end, aside from 4 or 5 sacks that the Eagles defense was able to come up with. Ryan Kerrigan coming out of nowhere in the unfortunate absence of Josh Sweat. I mean, there's a lot to go over, and it's I did this stream not just for my frustrations, but for everyone else's frustrations as well. I know there's going to be a lot of post games going on, and I don't know to what extent of them being call-ins, but as the link as the link goes up, you guys need to blow off some steam as well, and we're going to do that together as I keep it going here. If you want to know how bad Jalen Hurts was today, aside from the garbage time touchdowns, because he had two of those, he had two garbage time touchdowns. 23 of 43 for 258 yards, only averaged 6 an attempt. One touchdown. We'll keep it as one because of that 2-point conversion to Devontae Smith. I think the only touchdown Hurts really had was the one to Kenny Gainwell. It was a 19-yarder, and two really bad interceptions. I mean, those were terrible. Those were completely bad decisions. I don't care what anyone else has to say. Yeah, I mean, the throws were late, but aside from it being a late throw, overall it was still a terrible decision. It was they were straight up bad decisions. And before I get any further into us, Nightings, good to have you on my channel. Even if it's just to call in, and of course collaborations do have to happen at some point in the future and whatnot. But I think this is one of your first times in hanging out with me on my channel instead. And well, good to have you on here. If we could
appreciate that. I'm just
humorous frustration going. Um, yeah. Well, I guess you can start with the beginning of the game and your expectations going in, and how the end result differed for what you thought in terms of your expectations.
absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on here. I think this is like the second time I've been on here. I remember I was like on like a maybe a basketball stream of yours that came in for a little bit. Definitely one of my first times though. But real quick, I my expectations were I knew Brady was obvious. They were obviously going to score against us. I mean, it's the Bucks offense, even though they were missing key players. Like, I mean, I was totally expecting that. And Gannon, letting up that first drive touchdown immediate for the Bucks. It sucks to say, but I was actually kind of expecting that. He started off slow in a lot of games, Jonathan Gannon, and we
Yep.
stalled out in the first. I didn't. Okay, look, we've also been starting slow on offense. How do you say in the previous games too? We just had a slow start. Normally in those previous games, we've had a slow start, then we've gone on to win it. But this game, not today. I really didn't expect it to be a blowout. I kept saying before the game, it's not going to be a Bucks blowout, and that's exactly what it was. It was a Bucks blowout. We let them off the hook on defense. The defense did step up a little bit though after those drives. They were actually getting stops, but of course, idiot Jalen Rager muffed the punt, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't get those drives on offense. By the way, Jalen Hager, I absolutely hate you. I was tolerant of you for a little bit, but now I'm absolutely done. I was actually done with you that game winner against the Giants, but this is like, I guess this is the last straw on the camel's back, or whatever you say for that thing.
Yeah.
I expected way better of a game out there. Okay, I really did. We were not doing well running the ball, so then I said, okay, now you should run the ball, but you should also start passing it. Then the passing game turned sour, and I was like, quickly, change back to running the ball. You have to have a balance with it, and that's what we didn't do at the start. The running game wasn't working. Running the ball, that's our strong suit, right? But we also had to keep a balance and start passing the ball, and then that turned sour too. This offense was incredibly hideous today. The only points we scored on offense was in garbage time. So I don't even care about those points. This could have very well been 31-0, and we'd score those garbage time points, so it wasn't. I'm just so disappointed in this game. I expected way better from this Eagles team, and nobody showed up today. All right,
No.
Devontae Smith showed up today. I'm extremely proud of him. Yeah, sorry I'm going for so long. I just want to say my frustration. Devontae Smith went. I'm incredibly proud of him because even when we were getting destroyed, he still showed the effort and still showed passion, and he still made really good plays. So in the off season, we have to think about something because I don't want to waste his career. Sorry about talking for so long. You can go ahead now.
No, it's no, man, it's perfectly fine. I'm just chilling here listening, but no, you hit on uh a lot of unfortunate things that have happened. It's a shame that it's a shame that there's too many, negatives to really point out here. And for a stretch, Devontae Smith almost didn't have a single target in the first half, and he finishes the game with 11. I just it's so difficult. It's so difficult to imagine how a coaching staff refuses to, especially offensively, and this isn't just Sirianni. This is also Shane Steichen and Kevin Patullo, and Jeff Stoutland's a little bit in there for the run game as well, since he does the coordination of that. I don't get why it takes you as long as it does to make the necessary adjustments to, like, during the game, to say, hey, you know what? Look at Tampa playing soft coverage, like soft zones, and most of the time they were crowding the line of scrimmage because they knew that with their defensive front, we would not be able to run the football. So they were allowed to provide some cushion on the back end in the secondary, being, being that we're going to try and be run heavy first and establish the run. And that could also be a testament to maybe that Tampa doesn't respect Jalen Hurts' arm. Like they might as well, they very well may think that Jalen Hurts cannot throw the football. And well, there was a lot of times where that was proven to be true, whether it was a miscommunication throw to Quez Watkins that almost got intercepted, or trying to hit Dallas Goedert in double coverage where he wasn't thrown open at all, and it was actually a dangerous kind of collision, even though Goddard's a big is a big player. I mean, taking those kinds of collisions over and over again is not good. I mean, that's how Carson Wentz got Zach Ertz hurt in that Dallas game towards the end of the 2019 season, and I think Zach got cracked ribs on that. That's how you get your players hurt, by leaving them out to dry and trying to force a throw that isn't there. The interception to Devontae Smith early in the game, after we get thrown behind the sticks like 20 plus yards, and Jalen Hurts still manages to get us out of that mess, and he ends up hitting Quez Watkins on I think he was improvising, and he ends up hitting Quez Watkins, and it's a 16, 15 to 20 yard first down, and that sets us up close to the red zone. And then what does Jalen do? He rolls out to his left, where he's not good at throwing the football to begin with, off of the left platform instead of the right platform, and he's late to seeing Devontae Smith burning his man because that corner sitting there ends up tripping and falling. He's late on the throw, and I think it still would have been at the least dangerous. It would have been incomplete because the safety was watching Hurts the whole time. So he goes to the side of the field where he's least comfortable throwing the football, I would imagine, because he doesn't ever really throw to the left side, or he doesn't like throwing left or right for that matter. He always prefers the middle and the short stuff. But I don't get it. I really don't. Like, these are, especially in playoff time, like these are the kinds of games where you don't want to see your quarterback playing like this. And especially with us going into this offseason now with 3 first round picks,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that Howie and Jeffrey Lurie are thinking about the quarterback position right now. Even even with even with Gardner Minshew as the backup, who's still signed to Philly, and I'm not saying that he would be the answer either, but for Jalen to continue to make a case that he should be the starting quarterback going into 2022, this does not help his chances whatsoever. It really doesn't.
Exactly. I like to defend Hurts a lot, but am I defending him in this game? Absolutely not. He played terrible. I didn't even care about the passing touch. Well, did he even get a passing touchdown? I think he did in a garbage time. Let me check. Even
Yeah, he had one to Kenny Gainwell in garbage time. Yeah,
that doesn't count. My I really don't care about that whatsoever. I'm being really harsh right now, but honestly, Hurts, you kind of deserve it because you were really terrible today. You missed reads. You threw really dangerous balls, and you even I think he also was off target on some of them too. I remember there was this one I forgot who it was, but maybe it's Quez. It was just really behind him. Hurts was
yeah,
just not it whatsoever. The running game, we didn't even use the running game at all either. And the read option with Hurts, I mean, I think that sometimes it really did not work well, but even then, it did work well a little bit at a time. So we should have used the running game a lot more today because Hurts was absolutely not it in the passing game whatsoever. The first pick, now I'm even forgetting what the first pick was. I know one was like batted up into the air a little bit, then caught by Shaquille Barrett. But the other one, yeah, I'm blanking on the other one. I do know it was like extreme. Oh yeah, I do remember the one. He was trying to play hero ball. Smith was open. He didn't throw it up. He threw it straight to Smith, and then I forgot what Bucks player it was. Read that perfectly and picked it off. That's what I don't like about Hurts. He plays hero ball too much. Like I remember in the Giants game, you could have threw it out of bounds. We could have settled for a field goal. No, he likes to play hero ball. I know there's 50 seconds left in the clock, but you have to take it one down at a time, and that cost us a lot. And that killed our momentum because I know the Bucks still would have scored, 31 anyways. But actually think about it. If we scored before half, then we got the ball in the half. That probably boosted our confidence, boosted our momentum. It could have. I don't think it changed the game entirely, but it could have made a big difference. Yeah, now in the offseason, all Eagles fans are going to be thinking about is Hurts really the guy or not? Like I said, I've defended Hurts a lot this season, but now I'm having my second thoughts on if he's the franchise guy. So, yeah, that's what I think about him.
yeah. That's yeah. It's almost gonna feel that the Jalen Hurts question is going to be the center of attention going into next year. But there's a lot more things in terms of that kind of discussion. I mean, think about this. And did we just witness Jason Kelsey playing his last game in the NFL as a Philadelphia Eagle? Is Jonathan Gannon still going to be the defensive coordinator? How are people feeling about Nick Sirianni as a head coach going into year two? How do we assess the status of this team going forward with those 3 first round picks? Do they draft a quarterback? Do they trade for a quarterback? Is Hurts going to be the starter? What kind of defensive upgrades are we going to make? Derek Barnett is set to become a free agent, which I think a lot of people are happy about, since he since he was a waste of a $10 million option. People, is Jalen Rager going to actually be gone? Is he going to end up getting traded still with 2 years left in his rookie deal? Um, and are we going to? I mean, with this Devontae Smith situation, and you draft the best receiver, you draft the best receiver in last year's draft. You take him, and it takes you until the second half to feature them against a Bucks secondary that can be beat. I mean, I don't think they had. Well, Jamel Dean was out there. He wasn't exactly healthy. I don't think Murphy Bunting was out there. And Carlton Davis, they just got him back not too long ago. They don't have. They really don't have a lot of, big name, credible type of guys in that secondary, and you just could not take advantage early enough to be able to have a balance between the run and the pass. I mean, looking at that game early, there was options, there was like, draw plays, there was options trying to be used and outside zones, and nothing was really working. And why was that? Well, Tampa got all of their healthy linebackers back there. Their linebackers returned, and Vontae David and JPP was back there, and Shaq Barrett was back there. Some of these guys can still go east and west across the field pretty quickly. And we seen that early where, Miles Sanders could not get the edge. And it was that, and I remember that disgusting 3rd and 2 play where I don't know what the hell they were thinking in terms of play calling. I mean, you had no chance at all. Miles Sanders was not breaking away from the safety. Hurts was dead, dead to rights on that. It was all around a mess. It was it was an absolute kind of mess. So let's see. We got ourselves a question here also. Anton goes, do you guys think it actually quote unquote hurt Jalen Stock by making the playoffs and playing like this? Well, I think to me the situation kind of cancels each other out, and that sort of thing. I mean, you can think of it in a way as, sure, you made the playoffs. You made the playoffs. That's great. That's everybody's goal at the start of the regular season, aside from winning the Super Bowl. The only way you can do that is by making the playoffs. So they were able to accomplish part one of part two, but just because, just that's not like the icing on the cake or that sort of thing. Like once you make it to the big game, you got to perform like you're at the big game. And I think I think this did hurt Hurts' stock a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm losing my train of thought here, but the point is, in order, in order to, yeah, I'm losing my train of thought, but yeah, in a nutshell, I do think it wasn't the best for this wasn't the best for Jalen Hurts' stock, and like I said, there's still, there's still a bunch of questions to be had with him. I did notice that he was still making mistakes that he made earlier in the year. His decision making and just too much hesitation in the pocket. I don't know where that type of conviction disappeared to. I mean, this is a one and done situation. You don't go week to week. Like if this is the regular season, you don't take it as like, okay, we were able to afford this loss and we can live to fight the next week. No, it's you got one game to prove to a lot of people who you really are as a team and for Hurts as a quarterback. And well, this was a chance to redeem what you weren't able to do against the very same team you faced week 6 in the regular season. And they played exactly the same way. They were shut out towards the end of the third quarter in week 6. They were down 28-7, and they ended up losing by 6 because of the rest of their points being in garbage time. At one point, we were down 31-0 in the wild card playoff game, and in garbage time, we score 15 points. So it's same game, different result, but it ends up in a loss. I mean, I don't know. I don't know in terms of Hurts as a quarterback in the big moments. I don't know if there's anything to build on here. And like I said on Twitter, I'd be very afraid if Hurts is the starter in 2022. I would be. I would be because if this is another situation where the Eagles are good enough to make the playoffs again, but they're average, you don't want to see these kinds of things rear their ugly head once more. I mean, what do you think on that, Nightings?
Look, you bring up a really good point. And by the way, really quick, I just want to say how the Eagles of, sorry, not Eagles, 49ers Cowboys game is going, like, just really quickly. So Eli Mitchell has scored a touchdown for the 49ers. They lead 7-0. Bosa with a sack on Dak. And now the 49ers at the Dallas 43, second and 6. So it's looking very good for the 49ers. So sorry about that. Just really quickly wanted to say that since the game is going on. Well, going back to our game, you bring up a very good point on, you being afraid of Hurts being the starter next season. Again, I keep saying this. I have defended Hurts for a while now, and
Yeah,
to be fair, I mean, he was in the last weeks he was getting. I'm gonna say this. I mean, a lot of y'all might disagree, but he was getting better as a passer. He was making really good throws. Especially on the run too. But I don't know what happened this game. He completely backtracked from this game. Again, he was off target on a lot of throws, making stupid decisions, not seeing people wide. There are a lot of people wide on some of the drives. There are people wide, or rather a player wide, that he could have hit, but he didn't choose not to. If you remember the one at the Quez, it was batted down, it wasn't an interception. Expect that one. That was a stupid decision. I don't know why I did that. So wait, what was the question again? You were exactly asking, like, if Hurts is the guy next year, or
yes. I mean, and I don't want to put Hurts in like a Wentz esque category with some of his mistakes, but I mean, that's what I was seeing on the field. Whether it's the hero ball or the hesitation in the pocket, um, you know, easy reads that you just can't complete. I, and I get it. I get it. This is the first full season that Hertz has had as a starter. 2020 was not the greatest situation for him, and the amount of coaching changes that this team has went through. Um, so I mean, Hertz has essentially had to learn, two different offensive systems. We don't exactly know how much Sirianni carried over from Peterson's offense and yada yada and all things, and all things considered like that. But I don't also want these. I also don't want it to sound like that we're making excuses either. Um, even in those wins that Hertz had, where he did look like a franchise quarterback, and while it was lesser competition, and whether it's beating the Washington football team by only 4 points, or beating the Falcons week 1 by almost 30 points, and destroying the Lions, and um, for the amount of controversy that the Eagles have gone through externally, through you know exceeding expectations, and just just a lot of the negatives overall that we have had over the course of this season. I think the biggest question to me right now is, do I deem this season as a success or a failure? And I gotta think on that one a little bit because just because of the end result to how this season concluded, it makes me think about it a little bit. Um, I remember my first Eagles record prediction video. I had this I had this team's win total at an over under of 8. Best case scenario, I had them going 10-7, so I was pretty close with that. Worst I had them going was either 7-10 or 6-11. It looked like that through the first 7 weeks, but you know, I don't think a lot of us expected this team to make the playoffs. They achieved that. They achieved the discovery of an identity. Um, and what else did they really achieve? I don't know. I mean, there's really not a lot of other achievement if you think about it. We still have questions on the defensive side of the ball. We still have questions about our defensive coordinator and the scheme that he wants to run with these players. Some of us still have questions at the quarterback position. Some of us still have questions at the wide receiver position, as this keeps going on and on. Uh, some of us still have questions. Dare I say, with the offensive line, and the only consideration to that is the fact of whether we're going to see Jason Kelsey next year. What's how healthy is Lane Johnson going to be? He ended up leaving the game because of a knee issue, and LaRaven Clark was in there. Um, what are we going to do with Brandon Graham and Brandon Brooks? And there's like when you look at it in its entirety, I think I I don't know. I think there's less accomplishment than what maybe a lot of other people um, may seem to think. I don't know if there's as much accomplishment to me as others would think. I don't know. What is your opinion on that? How much accomplishment do you think the Eagles have achieved this year?
Honestly, I mean, in terms of accomplishment, we do know our identity, like you just said. Okay, we're definitely a running team, even though there's questions on, who's leaving the offensive line and such. Even so, if we, um, I don't honestly, Kelsey, he might retire, which is a very very terrible thought to think about. But we're gonna have to see if Landon Dickerson is ready to take up the reins on center. Even so, we also have Brandon Brooks who will be coming back from injury. I mean, hopefully he was out for the season. He should be back by next year. Jordan Mailata, as well as Lane Johnson. That is a really good offensive line, in my opinion. And we have a really good coach in Jeff Stoutland, so that will help our running game, right? And I've seen a lot of potential in Kenny Gainwell and Jason Huntley. I love the potential these two guys show, right? Miles Sanders, I love the dude, but no touch. He got injured twice this season, I believe, as well as he for this game we weren't running the ball as it is, but no touchdowns this year. He had the most scrimmage yards of any running back without a touchdown. He keeps getting injured. I don't know. I love Sanders, but I don't know. The front office and the fans are going to think about, is it really time to move on from Miles Sanders? Even so, we still have Jordan Howard and Boston Scott in the backfield. They've been having really good years. We barely saw them this game, though, which was really disappointing. Overall, we found our identity, in the running game, right? And of course, Hurts, he's mobile. He's a dual threat. He can run with it really well. But that is also coming into question too because of this game. Like, is Hurts really the right guy? Should we trade for a quarterback? Should we get a quarterback in the draft like Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, etc. Right? Which I don't think I really want to draft a quarterback. The quarterback class isn't. Kenny Pickett looks really nice, but the quarterback class isn't that good this year. Let's be honest with ourselves. I don't want to draft one. But yeah, we have accomplished some things. All right. Well, making the playoffs is an accomplishment in itself. A lot of people said we were going to be nowhere near the playoffs. This is supposed to be a rebuilding year for us after a 4-11 season, and we have a winning record in Sirianni's first year. By the way, Sirianni was really frustrating at the start of the season. He has picked it up, even though this game it did not show at all. I think we keep Sirianni. I think we get rid of Jonathan Gannon, in my opinion. In his first year as head coach of the Eagles, he got us to the playoffs. Obviously, you always want to win in the playoffs to advance to at least the divisional round. We didn't get that. And I know, saying at least we made it is kind of, I don't know if I'd say loser mentality, but, I just want to say at least we made it as an accomplishment because nobody thought we were going to be here. Even I didn't think we were going to be here. I said we'd be 8-9, which is only one game off, barely missed the playoffs. We made it. Okay. So now we know that if we get the right coaching and we fill holes, especially in the linebacker core, that's a huge hole we need to fill, as well as, other spots on the defense. And, we fix those big questions like, who will be in, taking the snaps. We could be a really dangerous team. I'm not even joking. I'm really excited for next season. If we do the right things, then I can definitely see another winning season, another playoff berth. All right. By the way, we play the AFC South next year, and I believe the NFC North. So we get to play the Lions and the Bears next season. So those are already a lot of games that I could see going in our favor. Right. So yeah, I think we accomplished a little bit this season. Actually, has it been a lot of accomplishments? No, but we still accomplished quite a few things that we should be proud of them. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I do believe Jacksonville is on our schedule next year as well that I seen because I do know there was a few NFC teams that were yet to be determined, but it looks like we got a decent combination of quality teams and and or bad teams, and yeah, I mean you bring up the progress of Nick Sirianni and how bipolar it seemed going through the year and trying to discover the identity of this football team. And, you know, to me, I don't see how you build upon anything by getting rid of a coach year after year after year. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility that goes into it. The coaches and the coach is partially in charge of the roster alignment, and he just oversees the amount of film that he has to watch, overseeing the personnel, the personnel that's working with the rest of the coaching staff that he wants in house, and there's so much responsibility, outside of game day that the head coach has to execute, and these players get used to playing in this kind of system. They get used to playing for this kind of coach, and to switch it up year after year, it's too big of a reset button. But at the same time, that head coach has to give you a reason to keep him, and I think Sirianni has done enough to stay as the head coach going into 22, and while that's not and while that's not necessarily shared with other people on this coaching staff,
Yeah, exactly.
a la Jonathan Gannon, and you know I I don't, and I personally don't know about Nick Rallis, and I think the secondary. I think our coach of the corners, the secondary. I think Denard Wilson, and so I mean, we're gonna have to look at a lot of these guys outside of the players when we mention this coaching staff. And to think that Jonathan Gannon is actually getting head coaching interviews right now. And I remember saying before this game even started, well, if you want to add to your resume, you better hope that your defense plays well into this game, and that just didn't happen. It flat out did not happen. The offense didn't play good. The defense did not play good. But the one thing I will say about the defense is that they gave the offense chances to come back into this game and make it competitive. But unfortunately, Hurts and the offense did not capitalize, and so it's just I don't know. I'm at a crossroads personally on where I feel this team is right now.
Yeah.
With the personnel that's not going to be here anymore, and yeah, and I'm basically rambling in circles at this point. But it's just the Miles Sanders thing. I'm the question with Miles Sanders. I'm personally not ready to give up on him yet. Um, just because I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I know who I have behind him yet. Kenny Gainwell has been doing pretty well. Um, I'm not sure in terms of his overall development where he's going to be as a running back, and especially that the Eagles aren't a dominant like RB running back one type of team. They always like to do it. They always like to do it through a committee. Um, and speaking of that, where the hell was Jordan Howard all game outside of pass protection? I would genuinely love to know that, especially against a physical defensive front that Tampa Bay has. Where was Jordan Howard all game to try and give you some punch up the middle? Because he always seems to have these defenders bounce off him, and no matter what he does, he gets positive yardage, and we don't see him all game to try and get some sort of momentum running the football with Miles Sanders. Then we see Boston Scott when it's too late, and then we try these east and west screens with Kenny Gainwell, and they get blown up. The only real screen that worked well was the one to Dallas Goedert that was nullified by a terrible holding call on Jason Kelsey. I mean that wasn't a holding whatsoever, and the refs still blew the flag. But don't even get me started with the officiating this game, because it was putrid in the first half. But it's gonna. I don't know. It's gonna take me a little bit to process this game and where I feel that the team is going moving forward. Sucks that we went home this way. It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Anton saying 43 passes to 9 runs with the running backs all game. Yeah, I mean, didn't didn't Hurts have 8 carries himself? It's a
Yeah,
shame. I just don't get it. I don't know if we completely. I don't know if we had our running game taken completely away in week 6, but this
exactly.
this wasn't it. Even with the wind in Tampa, it wasn't terrible enough that it completely altered some of Jalen's passes either. So I
Yeah.
don't know, but BPS Big Play Slay in the building talking about defeat and depression. BPS, if you want to share that, the link is in the chat for you, man. But
That
you
is a
know,
that's a mood. I said at the start of this chat agony. I know it's not depression and defeat, but that's what everybody's feeling right now. This was just such an awful. They were winning 31-0 at one point, and that's just it's such an awful game to end the season. We could have at least made it more competitive, but no, we didn't.
I mean, especially the way that Sirianni was trying to get this team ready to go into the game, and the inspiration from Kobe Bryant and the Rocky movies and all of that. I mean, at least he isn't at least at least he isn't having his team smashing watermelons or doing something stupid with preparation H and butt cream and butt cream and all that, a la Mike McCarthy. But it's. I mean, he meant well by it. Jalen Hurts meant well by the speech that he gave to the team and the other captains, and well, it didn't reach the field. Sadly, it did not reach the football field.
Yeah,
Coach
definitely.
in the building. What up, man? Yeah, as it goes for anybody in the chat, content creators. Um, yeah, if you want to if you want to express your depression along with Nightings and I, the link
Yeah,
is in the chat. If you scroll up, you will find it. I could actually pin it. I don't know why I did not do that yet, but I can pin it. Let me make sure that I mute the video on YouTube if my laptop decides to load. Uh, let's see here. Let
in
me
about
make sure that I do get it muted. But
5 minutes.
yeah, there it is. Yeah, I'll just pause it instead. But here, let me see. Let me find it here. There we go. That is now pinned, so anybody can find the link that way. But yeah, I mean, BPS coach, if y'all are available, you gotta let me know how you guys are feeling after watching the embarrassment that the Eagles put on display. I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad that Troy Aikman was regretting being a commentator on that game. I mean, he was so irritated at portions of that, and just hearing the disappointment in his voice and the disappointment and the irritation to where like he's just saying that you know these are like those some of those throws were easy reads for Hertz, and he just did not make the throws. I mean, it was hilarious, but a shame at the same time. So, uh, but as you just I got your chat Nightings. So if you got to head out, by all means, that's perfectly fine.
All right.
The show will go on as best as I possibly can with some with some things I can drum up here, with how this game finished, and
Yeah.
um, just this is so
It's so
it's so embarrassing. It really is.
yeah.
But I will say that you know I appreciate you coming on here. Not often that we are able to talk it up, especially with Eagles football, and getting your frustrations out and disappointment and every other negative adjective that you can put on this game and some of it on the season in general. But with that said, feel free to advertise your channel, man, because all of us are in this game together. But the only way, the only way people can discover is, uh, you know, through your own advertising. So
Yeah.
let everybody know where they can find you, the content that you provide, and um, you know the projects that you got going on over there for your channel.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All right. So yeah, obviously you can find me on YouTube. I'm the only Nightings on YouTube, so I don't even have to drop a link. Just search me up on the YouTube search bar, and you automatically find me. I do gaming, sports, history content. Not much gaming history, but definitely a lot of sports content right now. Don't worry, I'll try to figure out something for the gaming content. But just warning you guys, I do that content as well. Recently, yeah, I was actually a few maybe even 30 minutes ago, I was streaming with the Just Arrival podcast. If you don't know, it's a new podcast I made with a Giants creator, a Giants fan creator. I think you heard of him, Lindy Football Talk with Benny, right?
Yep.
So yeah, he's a really cool kid. He's my friend. He's my co-host. He also makes a lot of good content on the Giants. And like the name says, Just a Rival podcast. He is definitely my rival when it comes to sports. Right now, we're talking about a lot of wild card stuff. So stay tuned on my channel for, I think, a divisional round pick 'em. We do those and such like that. And maybe I'll do a divisional round stream with him, the podcast. So look out for that. And you can also find me on Twitter, and I have my own Discord server. If you go to my channel, those links will all be there. Yeah, and that's about it. Really quick, just want to say my last thoughts on this game to just end it off on at least a little bit of a good note, because that did not end on a good note. Let me tell you that. All right. So yeah, absolutely disappointed. I am disgusted. That was an awful game. Like you said, all the negative adjectives I could say. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next season though. A lot of talk about the off season right now, and it's officially started. So yeah, everyone. Even though we lost, as always, fly Eagles fly, go Birds, and I'll see all of you guys here later. Thank you so much for letting me on, Lindy. Have a good day.
Yeah, appreciate you, nice. No big deal. Just glad that you can hop in, But yeah, so take care, man. Continue to have good luck with your channel and the growth and for the podcast and everything. And you know, as always, fly Eagles fly from one bird brother to another.
Sorry.
See you later. Take care.
All right, see ya. Take care. Also, before I go, subscribe to Lindy, please. You're already on his channel. Go ahead, subscribe, turn on the bell if you haven't already. All right, I'm out.
Thank you.
Guy.
Yeah. Well, and for as much as I have been, stumbling upon words and everything, and it's not the first time that I've done this before either, and sometimes it really takes me back to the beginnings of my channel, but a lot of times, when I do streams like this, it's because of the end result of what I just watched, and trying to compile like a combination of thoughts and from what I've seen, and and to be honest, I think I only watched up until the third quarter of this game, because I knew once 24-0 hit, that this game was pretty much over, and and then I eventually see that it was 31-0. I'm like, yeah, time to throw in the towel. I'm not getting more angry than I need to be, and at the end of it, we're all going to have to come up with a final assessment on how this Eagles season concluded, and be that as it may. I just wanted to make this a quicker based stream, even though I did pin a link for a call in. But the more I start to ramble, the more the more the content is going to suck. And before it gets to that point, I don't want to do that to y'all, because I'm just at a means of a loss for words, to put it blank. But in the coming days and whatnot, we're gonna have to come up with some things to talk about that'll really get us thinking in terms of the future of this football team. And with that said, I'm gonna get out of here. A little bit tired after this weekend. Had some extra overtime going in there. Work has been a little busier than usual with the extra responsibility that I took up, and so yeah, I think a lot of us are tired mentally, but no, I appreciate everybody that hung out with me for what seemed like a blabbling kind of hour, and Nightings came in to save the show a little bit there. You know what I'm saying? But for people that have for people that have watched me for a little bit now, you guys know that you guys know that I'm not like that all the time, and just like losing my train of thought and stuff. But yeah, the loss itself was tiring, and we'll only have a lot more to discuss going forward in the future of this football team. And I will be with you guys one step at a time, one video at a time, trying to take the lead for this football team. And but if there's other streams going on today that may include call-ins, I'll be hanging out. I'll be hanging out in the chat or hanging out on the panel. But with that said, myself, Lindy, I'm gonna get out of here. Uh, Thank you for tuning in. Flag goes fly, bleed green. Go Mavs, MFFLs. I gotta give you some content as well. Take care, everybody. I'll see you soon. And again, for the end of the 2021 Eagles season, we're still flying. Later, everybody.